The strongest person that I've ever met in my life was a 90-pound woman. I mean, I work in the fitness industry, and I've seen people that can throw on 500 pounds like it's nothing, or 6'4" bodybuilders that fill the size of the room. But the strongest person that I've ever met in my life was a 90-pound, 5'1" woman. You see, when I was born, my mom got diagnosed with heart failure. And subsequently, after a couple of tests, the doctors pulled her in and told her, they said, "I'm sorry, ma'am, but you have a disease called pulmonary hypertension, and unfortunately, it's terminal. Spend time with your loved ones and your friends, and do the things that you enjoy, because after 2 months, the chance of you living are almost none." And so she was only 90 pounds and 5'1", but it was like she had the weight of the world on her shoulders. And so my mom, she could have given up, and she could have said, "You know what, I've lived a pretty great life so far. I guess it's short, but I guess that's what's gonna happen." But that's not my mom. And so she told herself, she said, "I'm not gonna let this disease define who I am. I'm not gonna let this terminal status stop me from raising my 2 children." So my mom, through sheer hard work, determination, and maybe just a little bit of luck, was able to change the status of that disease to non-terminal. And so when I was 6 years old, I asked her, because I had finally heard the story and I could finally start to understand some of it. I said, "Mom, how'd you do it?" And so she was a little bit taller than me at the time, so she looked down at me and she looked in my eyes with fierceness and determination. And she said, "Son, because I'm a fighter and I'm a winner. I'm a fighter and I'm a winner." Right, so I was only 6 years old at the time, so I thought, okay, I mean, she's really small, but I guess she could throw a good punch or something like that. Like, I didn't really see how she could be a fighter, but I guess, I didn't really understand what made my mom so great. And when I was 10 years old, my mom actually got cleared to play tennis, right? Although she had a pump in her heart, the doctor said, "Hey, why don't we give this a shot?" And so I still remember we went to the tennis store and she had to make sure that her racket matched all of her outfits, right, and everything was perfect. And so she put her name up to get drafted on the board. And then after, she went to go check the board and she looked for her name. So she looked up and down and left and right, but she wasn't there. No one had drafted her. And so she went up to the people that made the teams and she said, why am I not on the team? And they looked at her and they looked at the pump in her heart and they said, "I'm sorry, no one wants to play with a handicapped person." And so my mom, she could have said, "Okay, you know what, I've done some pretty great things so far in my life, but I guess tennis isn't for me, right? I am a little small and everything." But that wasn't my mom. And so she rounded up everyone that she could, everyone that was picked last, everyone that wasn't wanted, and she said, "Hey, join my team, and we're gonna show them what we got." And so they practiced every day and they practiced every night. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, they kind of sucked at first, but they got better, right? And so they started playing matches and they started winning. And until one day, they played that team that my mom wasn't picked by. And they gave it everything they had for that one match, and they won. And so of course there had to be a congratulations party after, and I went up to my mom, right? And I asked her, I said, "Mom, how'd you do it? You weren't even supposed to be good at tennis." And we were about eye level at the time, right? So she looked me in the eyes with the same fierceness and determination that she had before. She said, "Son, because I'm a fighter and I'm a winner. And if I can do it, then anyone can." And that's when I got the feeling that, yeah, maybe this person was a little bit special. When I was 13 years old, my mom got diagnosed with cancer. And on top of the other disease that she already had, the fighter threw her last punch. It was too much for her to handle. So when I was 13 years old, my mom died. And I could have taken her death 2 ways. I could have used it to inspire myself to become the person that's standing up here in front of you today. Or I could have let myself go, mentally and physically lost with no purpose. And unfortunately, the latter is what happened. Both in mind and in body, I had lost any sense of what I was doing. I became depressed. I didn't know if life was worth living anymore. And I'll never forget the very first day. It was our very first Thanksgiving without her, and we were taking family photos, except this time it was a family of 3 instead of 4. And so I was scrolling through the photos, and something about my face and my body caught my attention, and I could just see suffering and pain in my eyes. And so I heard this voice inside my head, and it said, "Son, this is not what I want you to use my death to become." And I said, "Mom, you're right." And she said, "Son, never forget this. You're a fighter and you're a winner too." And I said, "Mom, you're right." So after that one day, that one fateful day, I reinvented myself. Because if there's something that I could have learned from my mom, it's that no matter how hard things get, you can always get up and you can always keep fighting. And so both in mind and body, I changed myself. And people often ask me, they say, "Enzo, how do you do what you do? Why do you wake up so early in the morning? Why are you so outgoing?" And to that I have to say, hopefully, because one day I want to inspire someone, just one person, like my mom did for me, and show them that no matter how hard things get, never give up. And also, I want to escape that person that I became after my mom died. And so one day when my time is gone, and I'm up there, wherever I end up, I'll be able to look down in my mom's eyes, right? Because I'm taller than her now. And I'll be able to say, "Mom, I was a fighter, and I was a winner too. Thank you."